standing Qigong, which for me is the most effective, useful, and yet at the same time demanding Qigong that there is. So it just really entails you holding a posture. So all you do is you get feet shoulder width, get a comfortable position, and you're going to just sit down, let your knees bend, stay there, and lift your hands up to this height here. So I'm level with my shoulders, as you can see in the screen approximately. And we just stay here for an hour, 2 hours, whatever, except we don't, because it's a short video. And you lower. So the question is, how do you do this? Okay, so how do you get into this position where you can hold your arms in this, with this structure, and it can feel comfortable? So today what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the concept of Peng in the body and what Peng means and what you actually do with your arms and how you create this thing called Peng. So Peng is a feeling of you are an aerobics ball, okay? It's all the way around here. There's the aerobics ball, and it's forwards and it's backwards. And here, right in the middle, below your tummy button, is the center of the aerobics ball, right in the middle of it. And what happens is the center is going to expand and create a forwards and backwards movement, a left and a right movement, and an up and a down movement, so that we have all 6 directions taken care of. But right in the center is you. Now, this is ideally in a face-to-face class, I would actually have somebody taking hold of your wrists while you're like this and very gently pushing towards you. The idea here is not to use any muscle whatsoever. In fact, it's completely to sort of turn your muscles off. And you might think, oh, that means you're going to fall down, but it doesn't really. You know, what it means is you start actually engaging your fascia to a certain extent. You start bringing the fascia into play, which is the connective tissue which holds the muscles in place. So feet shoulder width, but we're not going to bend the knees today. We're just going to stand up and we're going to look at the arms. So what happens is you're going to drop your shoulders and you're going to bring the arms up in front of you like this to about here. About shoulder height, as you can see. And you're going to try keeping your shoulders relaxed. Now then, what happens is, if you imagine that you're pushing my wrist, you've grabbed hold of my wrists, and you're pushing me backwards, as if so makes me fall away. Well, that means that means I'm maybe pushing this way against you, which has made me fall backwards, but I've got nothing going the other way. So what I need to do is, when I'm in this position, is I need to open my back backwards. Now, again, in a class face-to-face, I would have somebody put both hands on your spine at the back, sort of up here somewhere, between your shoulder blades. And I would say, person at the front, push, person at the back, push at the same time. And the person in the middle feels as though they're expanding in 2 directions. Okay, so you can lower your hands. So an instant thing that happens is people start to try and use muscle to push backwards as well. You go sort of, and you try and push, and then they lift their shoulders to do that as well. Absolutely no good. As soon as you start to involve muscle, it's the equivalent of closing your body down. It's the equivalent of creating stress in your body. It impedes the flow of blood, qi if you want, lymph. Everything is constricted slightly. So muscle does that and it constricts stuff. And we want totally the opposite. We want to actually let go so that everything is so open. So when you're here, you can just lift up again, you're up to here. Have you relaxed your shoulders? If you haven't, I wouldn't try relaxing them now. What I would do is I would go start again. As you lift them, relax your shoulders. Okay, so now I'm going to create Peng. So at the moment I've just done a mechanical lift. So now I'm going to feel like I'm pushing towards you in the screen, but at the same time and equally, I'm pushing back with my spine, but I'm not really doing any pushing at all. There's no movement. This is me feeling like an expansion, feeling as though I'm expanding on a horizontal plane round here. And if we want to add another direction in here, I also feel like I'm doing this with my elbows. Watch, but I'm not, I'm going to do it, but you wouldn't normally show it. I'm doing that. I feel as though my arms are opening sideways, but there is zero movement. Absolutely none. So here I am in this position. And if you find you're tired, and it does happen quite easily for a lot of people, just lower your hands and come back to it slowly. So I feel like someone's pushing me at the front. Okay. Now someone's pushing me at the back. Okay. I've taken my mind to there. Now someone is standing on my left side here in mirror, on my left side, and someone is on my right, and they've got their hands on my elbows. And I feel like I'm just opening my arms towards left and right, but I haven't moved a tiny bit. I'm just in exactly the same place. Now you'll notice that my fingers are open. That's because what I want to do is open the middle of the palm. Now, sometimes you can really open the palms, but if you go too far, I've now hyperextended backwards, which you may or may not be able to do, I don't know. But this is too much. This has now become tense. The skin's gone kind of white. I don't think you probably can't see it in that, but it's gone quite white. You can see it a bit there, I think. So I find the middle position, whereas this is too closed. So we have an acupuncture point called Lao Gung right in the middle of the palm. We're trying to open that up and feel as though the bones in the palms are just gently opening. Both hands, they're very gently opening. And I've got that expansion sideways without doing that. And I've got the expansion backwards. So someone's now got their hands on my spine, and I'm not pushing them backwards. I'm just not letting them push me forwards. It's more like that with Peng. And I'm maintaining this rounded structure. Good. And just lower your hands, keep them there. Slowly, 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 slowly. Come to here. 45 degrees approximately. Again, see how the elbows are slightly outwards? It's not like this. It's here. I want space under the armpit, but not too much. Otherwise, I'm like this. I'm not saying you can't do that. You can. But for the moment, let's just keep it simple. Let's go to here. So there's a cycle of 5 movements. This one, stay where you were. This is number 2. This is number 5. This is a particular teacher I've learned with. This was his second, and this was the 5th one. There are a couple of others on the way down, which we're going to look at as well at some point. But for the moment, this is what you might call a storing position, whereas the upper one is a gathering position. Very good for your heart, very good for your lungs, extremely good for learning how to relax. A lot of people, when they hold their hands up here for anything more than a minute, find it very, very uncomfortable. The shoulders ache, and the neck aches, and the back aches, and all sorts of issues go on. And the whole point of this is you learn how to overcome that, or to pass through that, and just so it becomes comfortable, strangely.